Yeah. Great. Well, thank you all. I really appreciate you all being here and for your time and just being in a community with you all and presenting a Santa Barbara chapter. I wish we still had that weather. I mean, when you were presenting, saying that it's like that all year long, and now you're making me rethink a little bit about my choice to go to Chicago. But right now, we are located in Chicago. My name is Isa Martinez. I'm a strategic partnerships and growth manager with Innovare Social Innovation Partner. And I recently came on last February after finishing my MSCD in education entrepreneurship at the University of Pennsylvania, really focused in on how do we support leaders with equity, access, inclusion, and making social impact through business development. And what I will do as some housekeeping is what can 1 million cups do to help us? And really is around providing insights on the ecosystem, foundations. We're really working on a strategy right now to impact executive directors at charter schools, principals at public schools, superintendents, as well as executive directors at nonprofits. So any insights on the ecosystem, other foundations or opportunities where we can present and be in community with individuals who are like-minded, who really want to improve student outcomes, that's what we would love. To gain connections with you all. If you are an expert in a specific field and you can provide advice, I'd love that. And at the end of the day, our messaging. Share what you think that we can improve on, how can we improve our clarity with what we do and what we offer, and the value that we provide. Really, the way that we designed Innovare Social Innovation Partners, we are a data and strategic planning organization and applications. And we support leaders, just as I mentioned, executive directors of charter schools, superintendents of districts, executive directors at nonprofits, as well as principals in public schools. And what we continue to hear as the pain point is that the data I need is in different places. What we found with many of the principals and leaders that we talk to at different organizations is that a lot of times we have a ton of data, but it's very siloed and it's all in different applications. And so what we wanted to do is to support leaders in how do we centralize all their applications with all their data so that it aligns to their strategic goals. The second thing that we found is that the dashboards I have aren't useful. A lot of times they're cookie cutter, or they're not really working towards my needs, my goals, and initiatives. And lastly, I'm not able to track my team's work. It's not enough just to have our data, but we need to be able to ensure that we know who's assigned to a specific task that allows us to complete our goals. And so that's where Innovare really originated. It's about this idea of providing data support, creating dashboards and centralizing their data, providing strategic planning support as well, and also helping them operationalize their strategic plans within our application. And then at the end of the day, providing a human-centered design approach to the way that we provide support and ensuring that we go through a specific way of really understanding what are the needs, what are their pain points, what are the challenges that they're having, what data sources are available to us, who will be using the data and the metrics, and really how does that align to their strategic plans and their goals. And the way that we typically do this is first we centralize all the data systems. We identify which data systems are more effective or most effective for us to identify if we're reaching our goals, if we're reaching our initiatives, and that might be grade, attendance, individual education plans, so extra resources provided to specific students. If there's out of school suspensions, all that data, instead of being in silos, we want to centralize it so we can really see how we're doing as an organization. And then secondly, we help our partners develop their goals, making sure that we don't just plan to plan and we have a theory of action. If we do this, then we'll see measured by what, so that we can continuously improve upon our goals and our initiatives based on reflecting on them. You know, do we see areas of strengths, areas of weaknesses? Where can we make improvements towards our goals? Did we meet our goals and why not? And then lastly, just really providing that human-centered design approach. Really, how do we measure our impact? How do we reflect on it? And what you see within the analysis, as I mentioned, those areas of strength, we want to really document that, the areas of weakness. A lot of times when we're looking at data, we like to look at the red. And something that we do at Innovare is really focus in on what is the green? What are we doing really well at? How can we look at this impact and those initiatives and those goals and maybe maneuver them so that we can make other impacts in different initiatives that might not be on track? And then to tell you a little bit more of our story of how we originated, we were founded by 3 founders. What you see is AJ De Leon on the very right-hand side, who's our CEO, Nick Freeman, who's our president, and then Fernando De Leon, who's AJ's brother, who came on later on in 2019 to really help us build the app after working at Google, and he's our chief growth officer. And so when we founded in 2017, it was really around this idea where we kept hearing this pain points. And Nick Freeman and AJ DeLeon were data strategists in Chicago public schools. And the biggest pain point that they had is we're working on the same initiatives, we're supporting principals and leaders, but why aren't we communicating more often? Why aren't we collaborating together to really ensure that we're using the best practices across the board? And so that's when Innovare was really founded. And in 2008, we became profitable. We saw that there was this huge value to really work with our principals and provide that human-centered design approach, where we're really targeted on their initiatives and their organization as a whole. In 2019, FUR came over and really helped us build out the application. And so now it became a technology where we can really embed all those dashboards. We can have all of our strategic planning in one location and measure the outcomes. And in 2020, the pandemic hit. This was a time where we had to really shift our mindset. But what we found is that there was a lot of value in this opportunity. It became an opportunity where we can now meet individuals and be in communities with individuals across the world, right? I can be in a different state as I'm in Chicago right now. And it also allowed us to self-reflect on what were the pain points that were going on within schools. How can we best serve our leaders? And how can we also gain new information based on surveys to really see how students are interacting with remote learning? Do they feel a sense of belonging within their schools? And in 2021, due to this rediscovery and really trying to figure out how we can provide the most impact to our partners, we were able to do our first fundraiser in 2021 of a $3 million raise. And we saw the effect of just being able to do this because of our team. Our team is really powered by a diverse group of educators, tech and business experts, and at the end of the day, their passion is about improving student outcomes. We serve K-12 schools and nonprofit organizations in 10 states now. We're quickly growing, and a lot of our campaign this quarter is really around providing more support within California, meeting with more charter school organizations and charter schools in general. And our success rate is fairly great. 96% of likelihood to recommend Innovare, our partners, to another colleague. And that's really how we found throughout this pandemic is that, and as we've been trying to grow, the best way of gaining new clients is providing a great service, talking with our already existing partners and seeing who they know, which colleagues they know that they can share what we do with. Our progress thus far, as you can see in 2018 to 2019, our annual revenue over time was $420,000. And then now moving fast forward to 2021 and 2022. And by the end of June, we're planning to reach $3 million in annual revenue over time. What I will say, and I attribute this to, is that we have a highly sticky reoccurring revenue model. Between our sales cycle is about 48 days. The average annual subscription rate is about $20,000, and our renewal rate is 97%. And typically the way that we go about our pricing is based on the amount of users, the number of data sources that we're connecting to, and the number of dashboard views, dashboard pages, however you would refer to it, those dashboards that would be embedded within your application. That's how we determine our pricing. What I do want to share is Dr. Manoni. She's a distinguished Chicago public school principal, and we're truly honored to have her quote here. But what I want to point out is something that we really care about at Innovare is that they care about the outcomes, they value the leader and the leader's time. A lot of times when we talk to many of our partners, they're just extremely busy, and you cannot imagine how busy they are, especially during the pandemic. Filling in for roles, filling in for classes. Really, actually, I visited one of our partners a couple of weeks ago, and I was moving consistently throughout the building. It was nonstop. And so what we really want to provide at Innovare is an opportunity to use our resources, our expertise in our application to really save the leader's time and improve student outcomes and help their organization and their strategic planning at the end of the day. Just to recap, we'd love any insights that you can provide on the ecosystem, any connections. I'd love to connect with you all, gain your insights on how we can make improvements. And at the end of the day, if there's anything else that we can improve upon within our messaging, maybe something was unclear that we should be focusing in on in our next 1 million cups presentation. And I'd love to gain that insight. So thank you so much for your time. Isa Martinez again, please feel free to connect with me. And Innovare is to innovate, to reform, and to change. And that's what we strive to do every day. So thank you so much. I'll open it up to questions.